brought to you by Squarespace. Grand Theft Auto. 3 words that became tethered to quite possibly the biggest gaming franchise to ever exist, rather than the actual criminal offence. From 1997 to 2013, we have seen multiple GTA games that took the series to new heights, with GTA 5 making Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive billions of dollars worldwide. Most of that probably came from selling flying cars. Now admittedly, since GTA 5, gamers have been going through a long drought, as for the next 10 years, Rockstar would shut their doors and stay completely silent on any potential sequel, leaving fans wondering if GTA 6 was ever going to happen.
Oh god, there it is!
Then Rockstar got hacked, GTA 6 gameplay was leaked, and oh hey look, we've got a trailer. Wonder what happened to that hacker. Despite these circumstances around its reveal, the GTA 6 trailer instantly got fans hyped, and regardless of its delay to 2026, everyone was just happy to once again see another installment in this series. Apart from one man. See, this man had become disenfranchised with Rockstar Studios. This man had spent the better part of 13 years making Rockstar's most successful games, and now, this man was about to drop a game that would finally kill GTA. Worst of all, this man was Scottish. Unless you're super into games development, you might not have really heard of Leslie Benzies. However, I can guarantee you've definitely played one of the many games he's worked on. From Aberdeen, Scotland, Benzies was the producer on every GTA game since GTA 3, and has also worked on numerous other Rockstar games like Red Dead, LA Noire, and Max Payne 3. Anyway, by 2009, Leslie had equal shares in Rockstar and was part of a 3-man leadership team alongside both Sam and Dan Houser. Evidently, he was a highly valued member of the company, and this would only become more apparent once GTA 5 hit the shelves and absolutely dominated the market. Fat rip to any other games that came out during September 2013. At this point, Benzies must have felt in, having not only created the second best-selling game of all time, but also being the mastermind behind the money-making machine that is GTA Online. So, after all of his hard work and dedication, Leslie was convinced to take some time off. You know, enjoy a short, little 6-month sabbatical where he could recharge the batteries. Unfortunately though, during the 6-month vacation, Rockstar fired Leslie's son, his friends were fired too, and his company email was locked. Now, sure, this didn't look good, but maybe once Leslie gets back to work, he can figure out what's going on. However, upon arriving at Rockstar North, his keycard, wasn't working. In fact, he couldn't get into the building at all, and was even chased away by security. Rockstar would then later announce that Leslie had decided to leave the company during his sabbatical. This was all his own idea, guys. Come on, look, we're still friends. Benzies, like most friends do, then sued Rockstar for $150 million. Now, I won't bother going in depth with all the details of the lawsuit, because 1, I am not a lawyer, and 2, I might fuck reading all of that, but the bullet points are that Leslie claimed he was forced to take a sabbatical, that the Housers obviously felt threatened by him, and that more specifically, Sam's work on GTA 3 was shit, and it would never have been as successful if it wasn't for Benzies. Take-Two then countersued Benzies, calling his claims bizarre, and it all gets a bit messy from this point. However, during this legal battle, Benzies decided that he wasn't going to be pushed out of the gaming business, and in 2017 he formed a brand new company along with 2 former Rockstar employees, and this is where he would first come up with a brand new gaming experience. See, this new project wasn't just going to be a multiplayer game, it would be an experience unique to each player, constantly developing and growing, allowing you to live out your unlimited fantasies in a deeply immersive open world, blurring the lines between reality and simulation. This wouldn't just be a game, it would be everywhere. Wait, that's the actual title? Now, I think it goes without saying that Everywhere was a hugely ambitious project for Leslie's new studio, now dubbed Build a Rocket Boy after Take-Two saw its previous name, Royal Circus Games, and claimed the acronym RCG was way too close to Rockstar's one of RSG. Anyway, as far as Everywhere goes, the way it was talked about was as if it was going to be this virtual paradise for gamers that they could practically live in. And unlike in VR chat, it wouldn't be infested with furries.
Are you not ashamed to be doing this?
More importantly though, this was Leslie's big comeback come back after, in his words, being unjustly fired from Rockstar.
You're fired!
He was about to prove to them what a huge mistake it was letting him go by making this massive, immersive multiplayer experience that wouldn't just emulate the success of GTA, but rather completely nuke it. Everywhere was going to be the ultimate fuck you to Rockstar, and this narrative clearly helped to build interest for the game, as by 2022, Build a Rocket Boy had enticed multiple companies to invest in them, raising well over $100 million. They quickly expanded their reach too, having offices in Scotland, Los Angeles, Budapest, and a fourth soon to open in France, probably to accommodate their constantly growing workforce, which by this point was around 250 employees, including people who had worked on games like Dying Light 2, Watch Dogs, and of course, GTA 5.
What kind of fucking animal do you take me for? No, I didn't kill him. Oh, fuck. But I did kidnap his wife. Oh, no.
The money was there, the talent was there, the clout was even there through Leslie's reputation. This was all setting up for what could possibly be a generational game. One question though. What even is Everywhere? No, like seriously, besides all the vague buzzwords and headlines, we still didn't really know what this game was about, or even what it looked like. The game was a complete mystery. But thankfully, that was all about to change during 2022's Gamescom, when Build a Rocket Boy took to the stage and finally gave us a glimpse of Everywhere. And it was... what the fuck even is this? This reveal trailer somehow caused even more confusion. Like, Everywhere was marketed as his next generation game that would push the boundaries of modern gaming. I mean, it was even compared to the Oasis from Ready Player One. This is what people expected, and this is what they got. Can you see why there was a slight issue here?
Okay.
The presentation only left people with more questions. From what was shown, Everywhere looked more like a Fortnite clone rather than anything remotely similar to Leslie's previous work, and it was still unclear what the fuck this thing even was. Some thought it was a metaverse, others thought it was something closer to Roblox, and there was even rumblings of it being an NFT game.
And now the mark. Oh!
However, what we did know is that Everywhere was set to release in 2023. Hang on, pause. Rewind a few seconds. Who is that? During the last few seconds of the Everywhere teaser, it seemed to glitch and warp into a completely different, more realistic art style, showing something way more in line with people's expectations. Once the presentation ended, Jeff did try to ask what this could possibly be, but Adam here dodged the question entirely, while his brain kept on generating more buzzwords.
But we're still passionate about making immersive and cinematic experiences that players can just get lost in and enjoy.
Despite this, we would eventually see more of this top secret project in the form of a 30-second teaser, showing more of this futuristic world with androids, drones, and explosions. This was what fans wanted, and this was MindsEye. But first, the definition of square. An open, typically four-sided area surrounded by buildings in a village, town, or city space. Wait, space? Oh, this video was brought to you by Squarespace. Now come here. Are you in the market for a new website? Need somewhere to show off your beautiful... What is that? Well then, Squarespace is your perfect match. Now please, kiss the bride. Just go to the site, click Blueprint AI, answer a few quick prompts, and within minutes, you've got a stunning website.
Hey, that was easy.
Need more? Well then how about these lovely templates? Or better yet, how about we use Squarespace's wide array of analytics to see the likelihood of me going bald? Oh, seriously though, Squarespace makes it easy for you to turn your passions into cold hard cash. From selling custom merch to even online courses. All you need to do is go to Squarespace, get that free trial, and once that website is ready to launch, click my link in the description or go to squarespace.com/AlexWebb to get 10% off your website or domain purchase. With this new game being announced, you probably think Leslie and the team at Build a Rocket Boy would have way too much work on their plate. Like they were effectively building two AAA games at once, with MindsEye initially being planned as a free episodic game where each episode would take place during a different time period and it would only be available to play through Everywhere. Wait, what? Basically, from what I can see, Everywhere was kind of just a glorified level editor, and MindsEye was supposed to be a way to demonstrate what you could create using the platform. So, in other words, it was just Roblox. However, while MindsEye had a decent amount of interest, absolutely nobody gave a shit about Everywhere anymore. I mean, MindsEye was what people actually wanted from a guy who had pioneered the GTA series, and as a result, nobody was even remotely interested in Everywhere. Like, come on, the most replayed part of the next trailer was a second-long clip showing, you guessed it, fucking MindsEye.
Nice.
Combine that with a really hard to watch gameplay demo and an invite-only beta that, again, nobody cared about, and it was pretty obvious that Everywhere was a lost cause. Its 2023 release date came and went without a word from Build a Rocket Boy. In fact, the only update we got was that they were firing staff. By 2024, it wasn't looking good for Leslie's new studio. They had invested so many years of work into making Everywhere, only for it to get killed off due to how little people cared about it.
All this design that got me dripping.
And more importantly, Leslie's plans to get revenge on Rockstar were ruined. But then Leslie looked at MindsEye. There was interest there. People wanted this game, and he could be the one to give it to them. So the company quickly shifted all their efforts into making MindsEye pretty much sci-fi GTA. Leslie then looked at his calendar and seen that Rockstar was planning to release GTA 6 during the end of 2025, and without any hesitation, he locked in an earlier release date for MindsEye. This was it. This was Leslie's chance to get his revenge on Rockstar by having MindsEye come out first and be an even better game than whatever Rockstar was cooking up. In fact, he wasn't just going to beat GTA 6, he was going to kill it. One super small issue though, they only had a year to build this entire game. I'm sure nothing will go wrong here. Now, after its brief teaser in 2023, we wouldn't actually see or hear anything about MindsEye for close to 2 years, leading to most people thinking the game had been cancelled too. But then, during PlayStation State of Play at the start of 2025, Build a Rocket Boy was back. This time with explosions, cyber implants, Tesla bots, men screaming, and of course...
Hello, I'm Leslie Benzies.
There he is. That's our national pride. Probably important to also note that there was zero mention of Everywhere. MindsEye now had a new publisher in IO Interactive, the same guys behind the Hitman games. Everywhere's website now redirected to MindsEye, and whenever Leslie was asked about it, he pretty much just said, By March, MindsEye had an official release date and a couple new shiny trailers too, one of which gaining 12 million views. How the fuck? However, despite these new trailers looking polished and well put together, the actual work environment at Build a Rocket Boy, according to multiple devs, was incredibly toxic. Leslie had effectively created a company where he was the main character and everyone else was just there to make sure he was happy. Got a different opinion? Fired. Have any concerns with MindsEye? Double fired. Don't agree with King Leslie? Paid vacation. Oh, that doesn't seem too bad actually. To unemployment. Aww. The company's Glassdoor reviews quickly plummeted as a result, with many ex-employees taken to the website to share their horror stories about working at Build a Rocket Boy. Although Leslie didn't care about any of that. Come on, who listens to Glassdoor? Clearly they're just paid off by Rockstar. Outside of the company being an absolute mess, people started to notice just how little of the game had actually been shown. A month out from release and there's still no in-depth gameplay trailers, unlike most other AAA games, and perhaps even more bizarrely, no review codes had been sent out, as it left major gaming news sites completely unread. What Leslie and the team did instead was hold their own preview event for a small batch of YouTubers and journalists, where they showcased the game by having someone play it through fucking Teams. What's even more insane though is that despite Build a Rocket Boy trying their best to hide the game's shortcomings by only letting people see super specific parts of it, that still didn't stop everyone in attendance from coming to the conclusion that MindsEye was nowhere near ready.
I know with my platform, when I say these types of things, they come with a lot of weight, but sincerely, this game needs to get delayed.
One of the stranger preview events that I've been a part of.
And yet they have struggled so much to communicate what the hell this even is.
As they were going through it, there were, yes, a lot of glitches and bugs, and they were so obvious.
I've seen previews in a good state. I've seen previews in a bad state. This is up there with some of the worst I've seen, just in the terms of...
This negative reaction also really upset a few higher-ups at the company, so obviously anyone who had something negative to say about their game was quickly branded as a Rockstar sleeper agent. By this point, MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy had so many red flags that you would have to be colorblind not to see them. Like, the game was still weeks away from launching, but there was already multiple videos talking about how bad of a state the game was in. Tell-all interviews were dropping, going into detail about the poor work environments.
You didn't agree with Leslie, so you would be just pushed out in Bombay or another.
Executives were even leaving the company days before the game's release, and to top it off, GTA 6 was delayed to 2026, so now everyone's attention was solely on MindsEye. With all of this in mind, surely delaying the game was the best possible choice so that they could iron out the plethora of issues MindsEye had. But then, Rockstar would win, and Leslie couldn't have that. So despite all the warning signs and negative press, on June 10th, 2025, MindsEye actually launched. Players logged on, unsure of what they would see, but surely it wouldn't be that bad, right? Oh no. For those of you smart enough to not spend £50 on this game, it pretty much plays exactly like GTA. Just without the fun mission design, good writing, interactive open world, responsive AI, or any sense of optimization. But besides all of that, it's exactly like GTA. Did I just shoot you for a car? MindsEye released in perhaps the most broken, unplayable state a game possibly could, as players were not only bombarded with some insane performance issues, but also an ungodly amount of glitches, which included brain-dead AI, popping, textures constantly flickering. Why do you look like that? I don't think water works like that. Bad driving. Really bad driving. X Games mode. Finger guns. Sir, I don't think you can hide here. Why is my game running at 2 FPS? And of course, this is peak gaming. One unfortunate loading time is also screenshotted and becomes the go-to image for the game. Honestly, a pretty accurate representation. Other than MindsEye being infested with bugs, it is by far the most restrictive game I've ever played, giving you a game over screen for so much as thinking about stealing a car. What the fuck? See, despite MindsEye wanting to give you the impression that it is an open world game, that is a complete lie. MindsEye keeps you on a strict schedule of constantly going from mission to mission, only wanting you to observe the city of Red Rock from a distance, and if you even think about exploring it, that's a game over. Want to visit your neighbours? That's a game over too. Want to do some gardening? Game over, go play Minecraft instead. Want to actually go through your mission? That's wait, what? If you're able to somehow explore the city, you quickly realise why Build a Rocket Boy wanted you to only see it from a speeding car, as it is a lifeless wasteland with no cops, no buildings to explore, and nothing else to see apart from androids who are really bad at their jobs. But hey, who needs an engaging open world when you have a CPR minigame? It also seemed like regardless of how good your PC was, MindsEye would still constantly crash.
Well, I should have known.
Which was an issue that plagued even sponsored streamers.
I'm ready to game.
As some tried to cope and make excuses for the game.
It's got a little tint of green. Unfortunate. This can happen in gaming. Maybe that's a hacker mechanic. You know, they hack you IRL. This hacker's working hard.
While others were just utterly lost for words. By this point, Leslie had seen enough, and any sponsored streams had their plugs pulled.
What? The sponsor just paused the sponsored stream.
But the damage had already been done, and everyone had seen MindsEye for what it really was. A complete disaster. Upon its release, MindsEye was slammed across the board, receiving universally awful reviews and becoming the lowest rated game of the year within a day. PlayStation even offered out refunds to anyone who had bought the game, which had only happened once before when Cyberpunk originally launched. Numerous videos and articles came out detailing just how bad the game actually was, from its terrible gameplay to a story which sounded like it had been written by ChatGPT. And yeah, I can definitely see that.
The mayor is filming for her campaign/reality show tonight. I know it's terribly cringeworthy.
The comparisons to GTA were also back, but not in a positive way, as looking at it side by side with GTA 4, a 17-year-old game, really put into perspective how much of a downgrade MindsEye actually was. This is especially bizarre considering just how much money had been invested into Build a Rocket Boy and the game's development, which at a minimum was $100 million, or as one ex-dev claimed, $500 million. Now, to be fair, there is no proof of this claim whatsoever, and I highly doubt MindsEye cost even half that much. However, will I be putting that in the video's title? Absolutely. Anyway, after this horrific launch, Build a Rocket Boy jumped straight into damage control mode, saying how upset they were with the issues and that they were working hard to fix them. However, as of this video, MindsEye is still in a very fragile state. Other than that, a co-CEO of Build a Rocket Boy also claimed that ex-devs who spoke out were just incompetent and lazy, which isn't a great look, I can't lie, only made worse by the company then laying off half of their workforce. Now admittedly, I have been very harsh on Leslie Benzies throughout this video, and while I certainly don't think he's blameless in this whole situation, I think a huge issue that definitely impacted the game's development is that he's surrounded by executives that only say one word to him. Yeah! As of now though, the future of both MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy is looking very uncertain. Apparently Leslie did have a quick video call with the remaining staff to discuss potentially relaunching MindsEye in a more stable state, which is great. However, he then reportedly said that a big reason for all these issues was because of internal and external saboteurs, which if anything, proves that Rockstar lives rent-free in this band's head.